Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport. The 100th anniversary running of the 2023 24 Hours of Le Mans is about to start, and whilst the most likely outcome is another Toyota win, there could always be a surprise in store. But before the most modern cars and endurance racing take off down the Mulsanne Straight, let's go back 100 years and take a look at the very first 24 Hours of Le Mans. So make sure you subscribe and let's jump in our time machines back to 1923. Racing at Le Mans had been going on since the early 1900s. In fact, the very first Grand Prix took place at Le Mans, but the first 24-hour race in 1923 was all set to be something special. 20 manufacturers entered cars, mostly French with the exception of a private-owned Bentley 3 litres and some Belgian Excelsiors. France had the largest car industry in Europe, and so cars from Lorraine Dietrich, Delage, Chenard Walker, Roland Pillane, Brazier, Corla-Lichon, Amilcar, Bignon, Georges Irat, Salmson, Sara, a Ford from their Bordeaux factory, and Bugatti arrived at Le Mans with 33 entries between them. The race was organised by the Automobile Club de Louis, who still organise the 24 Hours of Le Mans and other endurance races to this day. For this first instalment, the regulations were only finalised a few months before the race. There was no practice sessions, so some teams turned up early to learn the track. Floodlights were borrowed from the army, the track was a mixture of gravel, dirt and tarmac, and the cars were as safe as you'd expect cars from the 1920s to be. There were many different approaches to the first Le Mans race, and so there were 6 categories for engine size. The Excelsiors had the biggest engines, 5.3 litre straight sixes, which produced a whopping, ungodly 130 brake horsepower and were capable of nearly 90 miles per hour. They also weighed the same as the factory that built them. On the other end of the spectrum was the 1 litre Amilcar, which only produced 30 brake horsepower. Cars were split into 6 categories based on engine size, but there was to be no actual overall winner. Instead, the results would be based on cars reaching a specific target number of laps given to them instead of just how many laps they completed. This was because they were competing for the triennial Rudge Whitworth Trophy, based on results over 3 years to push teams to keep coming back. Given the money spent organising this event, and to be sure future races were actually viable, this was probably a good idea. Why they couldn't have had separate awards for overall race and class winners is a bit confusing. The race started in the pouring rain as drivers ran to their cars. Each entry only had 2 drivers, and they had to fill the car up with petrol at pit stops themselves. It must have been exhausting. Not a lot of footage exists of this first race, just bits and pieces. It's strange to think there are only 500,000 or so people who were alive when this race took place. It may sound a lot, but that's only 0.006% of the world's population. The race in 1923 has almost nothing in common with the race today, except that it is 24 hours long and takes place at Le Mans. A couple of cars had their fuel tanks punctured by errant stones. The drivers walked back to the pits, grabbed petrol cans, and cycled back to their cars to make repairs. Cars were running with single headlights in the dark. Despite the rain and mud, there was only actually 1 crash leading to retirement. In fact, 30 cars made the finish, something that would not happen again until 1993, 70 years later. As the cars crossed the line at the end of the 24 hours, it was the Chenard Walker of André Legauche and René Leonard that completed the most laps, but it was one of the Salmson Val 3 cars that actually led the only championship link to the race, having exceeded their lap target by 46 laps. The first race was undoubtedly a success, and the fact we are now watching the 100th anniversary of the 24 Hours of Le Mans is an incredible milestone. The triennial Rudge Whitworth Trophy would only be awarded once and continued as a biennial cup until 1929. Target laps would disappear after 1936. Cars got more and more sophisticated. The track changed layouts and got safer. The Le Mans 24-hour race has seen some of the greatest names in motorsport take part. There has been endless triumphs. And tragedies. One thing is for certain, the 24 Hours of Le Mans is one of the greatest sporting events in the world. May it continue for at least another 100 years. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the action from the 2023 24 Hours of Le Mans. Ferrari on pole for the first time in half a century raises the stakes, but I can't see anything but a Toyota victory. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more motorsport content. Leave your thoughts down below and have a good one.